What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It's Saturday night, August 19th, 2023. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Houston Texans in the second week of preseason, or at least they're on their way to. At the time of recording, there is 2:30 left to go in the game, and the Dolphins are up 28-3 over the Houston Texans. Not going to go over the game detail for detail like I would in the regular season, but a very good performance by the team today. Offense, it was night and day how much better they were this week compared to last week against the Atlanta Falcons. And the Vic Fangio defense, man, they have a lot of potential. Saw a lot of good stuff from the defense today. C.J. Stroud, I think, did not have a good game at all for the Houston Texans. Once I saw that first drive from him, where he started at the Dolphins 7, and they couldn't even get points on the board, I'm like, yeah, the Dolphins are going to have a field day against C.J. Stroud, and that's exactly what happened. But he's got a lot of potential in the NFL, man. It's good. It's a good win. It's preseason, but they should feel good about themselves. The only real concerns going into this week is the two injuries that happened in this game. Robert Jones and Devon Achane left with injuries, and Achane was carted off to the locker room. I hope both guys were okay. Achane would be a big loss this early in the season, but we will talk about Salvon Ahmed because he had himself a day. It felt like someone that was out there fighting for their job. That's exactly what Salvon Ahmed did today, and I feel like the job is earned. Going into the regular season, he had a great game today, and I think the Dolphins would be stupid to cut him because another team that needs a running back is going to pick him up. And with this depth that the Dolphins have, a very injury-prone running back room, they need Salvon Ahmed. So they should not cut him. And I think after today, he's making the 53-man roster. So without further ado, let's get right into the game. I don't want to waste any much time. I'm going to be doing AEW Collision 2 tonight, so I got a long night ahead. First pass of the game, Tua Tagovailoa did start today, and the first pass was attended to Tyler Kroft, and it was intercepted by Denzel Perryman. Now, I don't know whose fault it was on the play, if it was Kroft or if it was Tua, but a bad execution overall by both guys, and it led to an interception on the first play of the game, which did not look good at all. Tua was upset, and Dolphins Twitter was having a meltdown. I was pissed off, and I'm like, you know what? Let him get this out of his system, because I would have rather seen him throw an interception in the first game today than I would in 3 weeks against the Chargers. So let's continue. The Texans get the ball at the 7-yard line of the Dolphins, and they can't get points. Dameon Pierce for 1 yard, Dameon Pierce for 5 yards, and then a delay of game penalty on Houston. Incomplete for C.J. Stroud, and C.J. Stroud misses a wide-open Dalton Schultz for a potential Texans touchdown. He overthrew Dalton Schultz, and turnover on downs. The Dolphins start at their own 6-yard line, whereas we caught a huge break with that one. Stroud not able to connect with Dalton Schultz, but a great goal line stand for the Miami Dolphins. Next drive for the Dolphins, they go 14 plays, 93 yards, and they get a touchdown, bouncing back from the first play interception. Then they get themselves 14 plays, 93 yards for a touchdown. Bad snap by Connor Williams forces a 5-yard loss for Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert up the middle for 7 yards, and then 3rd and 8. Tua Tagovailoa finds Durham Smythe for 10 yards and a first down. 2nd and 10, Tagovailoa to Ezukama for 7, and then on 3rd and 3, Tua to a wide open Tyreek Hill, who had about 7 yards of separation to Desmond King for 13 yards and a first down. 1st and 10 at the Miami 39, Raheem Mostert for 6 yards. And then we'll get to 3rd and 3. Tagovailoa, a check down to Savon Ahmed, 16 yards and a first down. Raheem Mostert, 16-yard rush for another first down. Savon Ahmed up the middle for 1 yard. Tua, a nice pass to Braxton Berrios for 15 yards, and it set the Dolphins up 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. Really nice, accurate pass by Tua to Braxton Berrios, and then on 2nd and goal, Raheem Mostert easily gets in for the Dolphins touchdown. And that's mostly all you would see from Raheem Mostert. Most of the starting offensive linemen, Tua and Tyreek Hill. Nice execution. Raheem Mostert looked really good. He looked really good on that drive, and Tua did too. A great bounce-back drive for Tua. I'm glad he got the interception out of his system because, again, I would have rather seen him do that today than I would in 3 weeks against the Chargers. The Texans go 11 plays, 61 yards, which ended in a field goal. C.J. Stroud to Nico Collins. This was the worst defensive drive on the game. Dameon Pierce for 7 yards and first down. C.J. Stroud to Nico Collins for 14 yards. C.J. Stroud to Noah Brown for 14 yards. Kader Kohu with the blown coverage. 3rd and 7 at the Miami 33. C.J. Stroud to Robert Woods for 11 yards, covered by Noah Igbenogany. So there he goes, giving up a first down on 3rd and 7. David Long, which may I say, had a great run stop, which he blasted through the middle to tackle Dameon Pierce. Should have been a loss of like 5 or 6 yards, but they gave him a loss of 3. That was awesome. 2nd and 8, Dameon Pierce for 3 yards, and then C.J. Stroud, incomplete. A great breakup by Xavier Howard onto Noah Brown, and Kaimi Fairbairn makes a 35-yard field goal. Let me see what is going on real quick. The Texans are driving. Okay. It don't matter. The Dolphins won. Skylar Thompson comes in now at quarterback, relief of Tua. First pass of the game, a deep pass to Cedric Wilson, and this thing was an absolute beauty, and Cedric Wilson dropped it. I do think he's going to make the team because of the amount of money the Dolphins are paying him, but he's going down on the wide receiver totem pole for sure. Skylar Thompson sacked by Will Anderson after Will Anderson blasted through Devon A-Chain. Skylar Thompson fumbled but was able to recover. And then on 3rd and 24, Savon Ahmed up the middle for 3 yards. Dolphins punt. Then the Texans, they go 3 and out. And the Dolphins go 15 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown. This took up 8 minutes off the clock. We will start at 3rd and 14. There was an offset penalty and then a hand up the middle to Devon A-Chain for a 20-yard gain and a first down for the Miami Dolphins. Skylar Thompson incomplete to Robbie Chosen on 2nd and 12. And then on 3rd and 12, Skylar Thompson finds rookie tight end Julian Hill for 10 yards. And on 4th and 2, Skylar Thompson finds a wide open Cedric Wilson for 13 yards and a first down. Savon Ahmed to the right end for 11 yards. Savon Ahmed for 8 yards. and Skylar Thompson gets the first down. A 3-yard pass to Savon Ahmed. 3rd and 5. Skylar Thompson to who? Savon Ahmed for 5 yards. So then Skylar Thompson on 2nd and goal at the 8-yard line. Touchdown pass to Savon Ahmed. This was the Savon Ahmed drive. He looked great. Skylar played well on that drive, and they were feeding the football to Savon Ahmed on this drive. We got another 3-and-out by the Texans offense. So back-to-back 3-and-outs. C.J. Stroud really struggled against this Dolphins defense today. And then, in 1 minute and 30 seconds, the Miami Dolphins go 5 plays, 82 yards, and a touchdown. 2nd and 10 at the Miami 18-yard line. Savon Ahmed for a 65-yard run. And I think on that play right there, he solidified his spot as he solidified himself as to get one of those spots on the roster this season for the Miami Dolphins. Excellent run for Savon Ahmed. And then 3rd and 11, Skylar Thompson he's dealing with pressure, and he throws to Braxton Berrios off his right foot, he's throwing off the back foot, throws it to Braxton Berrios, gets the 18-yard touchdown. 18-yard touchdown, and the Miami Dolphins take a 21-3 lead going into halftime. Texans, they get the ball first to start the second half. Davis Mills is the quarterback, 12 yards to Steven Sims. That's about it for that drive. And Skylar Thompson was still the quarterback. Now, he did get landed hard in the 3rd quarter, and the NFL made him come out and get evaluated for concussion protocol. He was fine. And then while he was getting evaluated, Mike White, who got sacked for an 11-yard loss, he looked a little banged up. He got up slow, and Skylar Thompson came back in. And Skylar Thompson was the quarterback for the remainder of this game. Now, was Mike White in concussion protocol? I'm not sure, because we didn't hear anything about that. I tried to look up his name, and there was no beat writers for the Dolphins who said Mike White's in the blue tent. He's getting evaluated. I didn't hear any about that. So this was the Skylar Thompson game, and I'll talk about that when we get to the end of this game. So 3rd and 20, Chris Brooks for 3 yards, and the Dolphins punt. The Texans go 3-and-out once again. A lot of 3-and-outs for the Texans today. And the Dolphins, they go 10 plays, 87 yards. They take up 5.5 minutes of clock, and they get a touchdown. Start at the Dolphins 13, Chris Brooks for 2 yards. And then on 2nd and 8, Skylar Thompson to Eric Ezukama for 22 yards. Chris Brooks for 8 yards. 3rd and 1, a false start on Keon Smith. And 3rd and 5, another false start. But it didn't matter, because on 3rd and 10, Skylar Thompson found River Craycraft for 21 yards. Nice play by Skylar Thompson. First down, Houston. First down, Skylar Thompson incomplete to D-Wood Davis. 3rd and 4. Incomplete to Eric Ezukama. And instead of going to kick the field goal at the 36-yard line, Mike McDaniel goes for it, and it paid off because Skylar Thompson got it to Cedric Wilson for 18 yards right down the middle. Another good pass from Skylar Thompson. And then the very next play, a screen to Chris Brooks. He's got a lot of blockers for him, and Chris Brooks gets his first touchdown in preseason. The bench was fired up for him. Apparently, he's having himself a good training camp, he's been good in joint practices for the Dolphins. I think he's a project. I don't think he's making the team this year. More than likely, he's going to be practice squad. But you love to see stuff like this, man, because these kids, they're out there, and they are fighting for their life on the field. So I'm happy for Chris Brooks. So that's basically it. A punt for the Texans, fourth quarter. Dolphins go 8 plays, 37 yards. Was there anything too crazy on this drive? Savon Ahmed, 11 yards on third down. Not really. So the Dolphins punt. Texans, they go 3 and out. The Dolphins punt. And the Texans go turnover on downs, 12 plays, 45 yards. And that's the game. We'll go over some stats here for the Dolphins and Texans. Skylar Thompson, 15 for 22, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns. Round of applause for Skylar Thompson. Tua Tagovailoa, 5 for 7, 61 yards, and an interception again. I would rather him throw that interception today than opening week against the Chargers. So I'm glad he got it out of his system, and he came back the very next drive and marched his team down the field for a touchdown. The Dolphins' running game. Last week, they had 166 rushing yards. Today, they had 38 carries, 205 yards. We need to imply what they're doing in preseason to the regular season. Last year, they were 29th in running the ball. Mike McDaniel needs to run the ball more because it's working. Savon Ahmed, 12 carries, 99 yards. Chris Brooks, 11 carries, 47 yards. Raheem Mostert, 6 carries, 30 yards and a touchdown. Devon Achane, 6 carries, 27 yards. Keep it up. The run game for the Miami Dolphins is looking not too shabby, but they need to imply it in the regular season. They need to run the ball. Braxton Berrios, 3 catches, 33 yards and a touchdown. Savon Ahmed, 4 catches, 32 yards and a touchdown. Julian Hill, 3 catches for 31 yards. Cedric Wilson, 2 catches for 31 yards. Eric Ezukama, 3 catches for 24 yards. River Craycraft had 1 catch for 21 yards. I don't think it's looking that great for him. I thought he had an okay season last year, but to make this roster, Hill and Waddle are locks. Braxton Berrios is a lock. I think Robbie Chosen's making the team. I think Cedric Wilson's making the team based off of what they're paying him. And I also think that Eric Ezukama is making the team as well. So he can shock a lot of people, Craycraft, and have a great game next week against Jacksonville. But right now, I don't think he's making the roster. Chris Brooks, 1 catch, 18 yards, and a touchdown. And Tyreek Hill had 1 catch for 13 yards. Let's go to the Texans. Davis Mills, 10 for 22, 94 yards. C.J. Stroud, 7 for 12, 60 yards. Dolphins' run defense held the Houston Texans to 32 rushing yards. Dameon Pierce, 6 carries for 15 yards. And Mike Boone had 5 carries for 12 yards. Mike Boone had 4 catches for 35 yards. Johnny Johnson III had 2 catches for 26 yards. Nico Collins, 2 catches for 21 yards. Noah Brown, 1 catch for 14 yards. Robert Woods had 1 catch for 11 yards. Now, today was the Skylar Thompson show. Once Tua was out, Skylar Thompson played the entire game for the Miami Dolphins at quarterback. Mike White was in there for a little bit, and then they took him right out once Skyler was cleared. So I think what's going to happen next week is Tua is going to do the same thing they did this week. He's going to have a series or two against Jacksonville. They're going to pull him, and it's going to be Mike White's game. This week was Skyler's game. Next week against Jacksonville, I think is going to be Mike White's game. And then we'll see by then who's going to be the backup quarterback of this team. I still think it's going to be Mike White based off the fact that, the Dolphins paid him $8 million a year to be the backup quarterback. They gave him a 2-year deal for $16 million. So based off that alone, I do think Mike White is going to be the backup for the Dolphins. But, hey, man, after today, Skyler's making himself a very nice case to be the backup for Tua Tagovailoa. God forbid he goes down with an injury. Knock on wood. But that's all I got, man. Preseason football. Dolphins take care of business. Offense looked great today. Defense looked great today. Again, the only two concerns I have after today is the health of Robert Jones and Devon A-Chain, because those guys left the game with injuries. So, but that's all I got for you guys today. I will be back later tonight here on the channel to review AEW Collision. I'm going to go based off how the show is. If it's a great show, if it's a really good show, I will come on and review. If I feel like there's not really too much to talk about, then I'm probably just going to skip out on the review and just chill for the night. But I will let you guys know on Twitter. And as far as Dolphins content next week, with AEW having such a big week with All In, I have Dynamite on Wednesday. I have All In predictions on Thursday. I'm not so sure if I'm going to be doing any Dolphins content next week. It's the last week of preseason. They're not really doing much next week. The Dolphins have off for 3 days, and then they have practice Wednesday and Thursday, and then they play the Jaguars Saturday night. So unless anything major happens, I probably won't be doing content next week for the Dolphins. So it's going to be strictly wrestling next week. But I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. Comment down below your thoughts on the Dolphins preseason win over the Houston Texans. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. And I may or may not see you guys tonight. I will let you know on Twitter. So have a good one, and stay safe and stay classy. Fins up!